Genesis 3, 1-7, Romans 5:12, Ephesians 4, 22-24, 2 Corinthians 5:17. Introduction. Beloved, today we gather to reflect on a profound truth that has been buried deep within humanity since the fall of man in the Garden of Eden. The title of our sermon today is, Man's Problem is that he doesn't know his real problem, the Satanic self, the old nature from Eden. This is a truth that many fail to recognize, and as a result, they struggle and strive in vain to fix their lives while not understanding the root cause of their issues. The fall in Eden, the origin of the problem. Let us turn our attention to Genesis 3, where the enemy first sowed seeds of deception into the heart of man. When Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, they lived in perfect communion with God. They lacked nothing, and their nature was pure. However, when Satan, in the form of a serpent, came and tempted Eve, he did not just offer fruit, he offered rebellion. He told Eve that if she ate the fruit, she would be like God, knowing good and evil. Genesis 3:5. This moment was the birth of the Satanic self, the desire to be independent of God, to rely on our own wisdom, and to define our own way. The original sin was not just eating a fruit, it was choosing to trust the voice of Satan over the voice of God. When Eve and Adam ate, they gave birth to the old nature, an innate rebellion against God's perfect will. This old nature is what continues to haunt humanity today. The old nature, the real problem. Romans 5:12 tells us that through one man, sin entered the world and death through sin. The consequences of this fall were not just physical death, but spiritual death, the separation of man from God. The old nature is not just a flaw, it is a condition of the heart. It is a deep-rooted self-centeredness, a tendency to rebel against God's laws and to choose our desires over divine purpose. In Ephesians 4:22-24, the Apostle Paul reminds us that we must put off the old man and put on the new man. The old man is the Satanic self, the nature that desires to live for itself, to reject God's commandments, and to live in opposition to God's truth. It is driven by pride, selfishness, and disobedience. This old nature is what brings about confusion, guilt, shame, and the struggle of sin in our lives. The deception, not recognizing the true problem. The tragedy is that most of us do not recognize the true nature of the problem. People today seek answers in success, relationships, self-improvement, and wealth, thinking these will solve their dissatisfaction and struggles. But these are mere symptoms. The real issue is the Satanic self within,